Welcome to Faith Fiction or Folklore, or the Triumph podcast, where we try not to mess it up. And today we're going to talk about NDEs. Gary, how are you?
I'm tired, but I'm here. How are you?
I'm all right. You're not allowed to be tired.
Well, I am.
This is no space for tiredness.
Well, I will do my best. I will hang in there, good sir.
All right. So if you'll pull it up on the live stream, we'll get right into it.
Will do.
We've started this thing where we're going to look over NDEs and all the different kinds, and I have a headache from listening to so many NDEs this week. I don't even know how. I didn't keep count. I listened to a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. That research can be. Yeah. I got
It's
you.
taxing.
I got you.
It's very taxing. Because I can't tell. You can't ever tell with people telling their stories. It's like, I believe you, but you sound kind of weird.
Well, last week's guy was a little sus.
Yeah.
He was a little suspicious.
And everybody has a little sus in their story, but that's because they're trying to remember it as they're telling it. So,
Well, the last week the guy was trying to like push a doctrinal stance, or we started to suspect he was trying to push a doctrinal stance, and he was using his vision to kind of make his argument rather than just making his argument with the Bible. That was the sense we were getting last week. So we were a little dubious about last week's individual.
Yeah. So. Well, this guy, his story is pretty easy. If you want to go ahead and hit start, we'll go straight to, I think, 10.
10 minutes, all right.
Basically, he just gives you a little bit of his backstory, and he works on vehicles, and he got stuck.
Bottom of the running.
He was working on a truck, and he got stuck under it. Fell on top of him. So right about here is where the accident actually happens.
All righty.
Engine at the dirty spot that he said is leaking oil, and after doing some diagnosis, I yelled out from under the truck and I said to Leonard, "You can go ahead and shut the engine off. I don't need it running anymore." Till I was pretty sure I knew where it was coming from. So look at the bottom of the engine, and Leonard gets up inside the truck to shut the engine off. And when he did, the truck shifted as it would normally because it has air suspension. It's normal. But as I'm looking at the bottom of the engine and the truck does its rocking, there's some kind of movement over here in my peripheral vision, my left eye. And I turned my head just in time to see the jack that was underneath the axle had slipped out when he had got in the truck and the whole thing shifted. Mm-hmm. The jack had slipped out, and actually the movement that I was watching was the jack teetering right on the very, very, very edge of the axle. And before I could do anything, that jack shot out like a rocket, and this 10 to 12,000 pounds of weight, of steel dropped, whatever it is, a foot, and hit the cement. When the truck fell off the jack, I was laying underneath the axle. The axle was maybe just an inch or two above me, literally, when the truck fell. So this 5 to 6 tons of steel drops, a foot or whatever it was. When it hit the cement, it sounded like a bomb went off. It was this incredible, just loud explosion noise as the steel hit the cement. And it was a weird thing, because not only was this loud explosion noise, but I heard splashing liquid inside in my head is the best way I can describe it. Wow. When the truck fell on me, it fell through the middle of my body like a blunt guillotine. And when it hit the cement over here on my left side, because there's no wheel to hold it up on that side, it hit the cement. I could literally just about probably reach out and touch where it's touching the ground. Blood on impact when it fell through the middle of my body. Like I said, it's like maybe $1 bill deep. So this 5 to 6 tons of weight fell through the middle of my body.
Apologies. I have to pause it for transformative stuff. But while we're at it, if you're wanting to see the whole interview, this is Touching the Afterlife. It's a YouTube channel. Video is truck splits me in half. I die, and I see angels holding me together. So, yeah, there's that. And, for those who are on the podcast, that is what we were pulling from. So, all right, moving on.
Body. And on impact, when it fell through me, blood shot out of my mouth and onto the cement. And I remember calling out, and I said, Lord help me. For whatever reason, I said it a second time. Lord help me. I said the same thing. And when I say Lord, I'm referring to Jesus. So I called it Jesus help me, Lord help me twice. I looked down, and on the left side of my body where the axle was the closest, where it's literally touching the cement over here, there's maybe an inch of space between the bottom of the axle and the cement. The cheap plastic hollow core creeper that I was on that had no wheels in the middle or anything, it was just a hollow core creeper. It flattened out, it collapsed to nothing. And there was, like I said, maybe an inch of space between the bottom of the axle and the cement. So I knew that my body was approximately 1 inch thick on the left side of my body. Go to the other side, the wheel is still on. The axle is going up at an angle because the wheel is still on that side, and it was at least double. So probably 2 inches of space between the bottom of the axle and the cement. So I know my body is, crushed all the way across the middle. Turns out, we found out later, I was thinner than my spine in the middle because my L4, L5 vertebrae are both broken. According to the radiology report, it says they were spider cracked and D-shaped. So I was thinner than my spine in the middle of my body, a lot thinner on the left, and I guess probably thicker on the right. So everything across the middle, between the bottom of my ribs and my pelvic bone, everything across there is in the middle of my body is crushed, destroyed. The pain was absolutely off the charts. I can't tell you how bad it hurt. It was incredible pain. So the axle, has fallen through me at this point. I could just see the gap on each side. The pain is off the charts, and Leonard didn't shut the engine off. The jack slipped before he could shut the engine off. So he got down out of the truck. The passenger side of the truck is fallen. So the passenger side fuel tank is, it's smashed up in, and the big bumper behind my head is touching on the ground on the passenger side. On the driver's side back here behind my head, I'm just underneath the front of the truck, just past that front bumper. So there's a gap behind my head back here. I can see out from underneath the truck on the driver's side by the front bumper. And Leonard got down, and he's looking underneath the front bumper, and we're looking at each other. So he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him from underneath underneath the front bumper here. And his eyes were, he went into shock. His eyes were great big. And
just so you know, Greg's about to join here in a few minutes.
Okay.
So he's
Well, if you want to jump ahead to 23.
23. Okay.
That's where he basically passes out. He talks and gives more detail about what happened, and then at 23 is when he passes out.
Okay. So the bottom line is, it sounds like the semi fell on him. I've been kind of in and out.
Yeah,
so.
he was working on the truck, and it fell on him. He had it on one of those things that lifts up, and it gave out, and the truck just.
That's like I've never trusted those jacks. That's like one of my big fears, is just being under a vehicle doing something and then it just dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's that's like one of those things you fantasize about happening.
He talks about a guy named Leonard was there with him. That was his buddy that was helping him work on the truck.
His buddy Leonard, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Gregorius.
Hello, Mr. Greg.
Well,
How
howdy.
are you? Howdy.
I'm good. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. So did you see part 1?
Did you part
No,
one?
I just got out here. So,
Yeah.
NDE.
I wanted to show you part 1 because it's happening on your place after all. We've got some more of them orbs.
Oh,
We could have said that
Right.
before you let me pick what we were doing first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if he was going to get back on. So
Oh. Okay.
I'll show it to
Wait.
you maybe here in a little bit.
After we
Okay.
get done with this segment.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you guys need to talk amongst yourselves because my stupid
Uh-oh.
scene for all 3 of us is randomly crapped
Jacked
out.
up.
I jacked it up.
So,
No,
welcome
it's
back,
just
Greg.
OBS. Being
Hey,
OBS.
So, what are we watching here, Trevor?
We are watching a near-death experience.
Ooh.
This guy was working on a truck, and the thing that lifts it up, what are those called?
jack?
The jack. He had one of those auto jack things,
Mm-hmm.
and he was under his truck on his dolly, and the jack gave out, and so the front of the truck came down on him,
Ooh,
and
it's
so
a bad day.
so he was laying there, and now about where we're at now, he's about to pass out, or he did pass out,
Ah,
and he's about to explain his experience while he passed out. But
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, if I can get the window to work. This is very weird looking, but this is the best I can do, so don't judge me.
Well, pull it up. Let me see it.
There you go. So, all right, I'll just start playing it, and we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Can't
That
get a
don't look
next
too
breath,
bad.
and my heart is racing.
It's off center,
I'm
but
listening.
what are you gonna do?
Just
you
like
know?
anybody, everybody's probably experienced this where you're super physically active, and you can literally hear your pulse pounding in your ear. So because I'm in shock, my heart is racing, my pulse is severely elevated, and I'm laying there, just my heart is racing away, and it was the craziest experience because it was just like shutting off an engine. I heard my heart stop. So when I couldn't take in that next breath, I couldn't grab that next breath of air. And at a certain point, as I'm going, trying to breathe, my heart stopped. And I literally heard my last heartbeat. My heart just went up, 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 just like it shut off a car, an engine. And at the last, it's seemingly with the last heartbeat, my spirit left my body. And I went up into the roof of the garage at, 14, 15, 16 feet, whatever the inside of the garage is. So I go from feeling obviously the worst I've ever felt in my life, crushed in half, to feeling the best I've ever felt. So I'm up in the ceiling, and I say all the time when I share this testimony that it was like having a party in the ceiling. I'm in absolute perfect peace. The Bible talks about this perfect peace, the shalom, shalom. The Bible talks about, Jesus says that he's going to send the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will give us peace that surpasses our mental understanding. That is exactly what I experienced. Peace that surpasses any kind of mental understanding. I can't even understand or put words on that amazing peace. I'm just up on the ceiling. Best I can tell you is I was having a party all by myself, an amazing peace. So I just stop here, and a lot of times I'll say, look, if you're a Christian, I believed in Jesus. I accepted him as my Lord and Savior. The Bible says that we don't have to be afraid of death as Christians. And I have found that brings a lot of peace to people. I've realized that there's a lot of people who have told me that they're afraid to die. And I just want to stop here and say, look, if you're afraid, if you're a Christian, you have Jesus in your heart, please hear me out. You do not have to be afraid of dying. In fact, I fully believe that the day we die is going to be the absolute best day of our lives. I mean that. The best, absolute best day of your life is going to be the day that you die. And that is what it's going to feel like. And that's what I felt like. It's the best day of my life. I'm up there in the ceiling in no pain, no sorrow, no suffering, not afraid, nothing at all bad, up there in perfect peace, watching down on this accident scene. And as I'm watching from above up in the ceiling, I'm so disconnected from the accident scene that I don't even know the guy in the truck is me. I don't even realize that that's me. So I'm watching from above. I'm looking down. Leonard, the man that I've been working with, again, I've known him since I was, 10, 11, 12 years old. And now at the day of the accident, I'm 36. So I've known him for a long time. He's a family friend. I'm watching from above, and I can see that Leonard is on his knees, and he's running his fingers through what turns out, I find out later, to be my hair. And he's crying, he's apologizing. He's over the top of my body. And he's saying things like, I should be the one that's dead, not you. I'm sorry. I'm such an old fool. Stuff like that, because he'd not use the safety equipment. And I'm telling you, I'm watching from above in the ceiling, listening to everything he's saying, and I could care less. I knew that guy down there was, what, dead, hurt, whatever. But I'm just watching from above, and I didn't feel bad about the guy underneath the truck crushed. I didn't feel bad about.
Remember we talked about trying to find commonalities, like common threads in these stories. That's
Yeah.
always one of them, that hovering above, kind of not really caring that you're dead thing. A lot
Astral
of different people
projection.
say that, yeah. So,
Yeah.
just pointing out a commonality there.
Yeah.
What Leonard was saying, I'm just watching it. And the next thing I can tell you is that there's an angel on each side of Leonard. So if you can picture the front of this truck, it's a conventional. So that means it's got a hood, a long nose, or whatever they call them. So the hood is shut, big bumper. You got your radiator grill, you got headlights out there. And right dead center in the middle of that front of that truck, My body, turns out, is sticking out from underneath the front bumper. Again, my head, shoulders, arms are sticking out from the front bumper. Leonard is on his knees above me, running his fingers through my hair, crying, apologizing. And on each side of Leonard is an angel, also on their knees. And Leonard is, I don't know, 6'1", 6'2". The angels are on their knees. They're shoulder to shoulder with him, and their heads stuck up approximately, let's say, approximately 2 feet taller than Leonard. I'm guesstimating. So that means that compared to Leonard, the angels had to be approximately 8 feet tall. I've studied the Bible out now and looked it up since this has happened, read every account I can of angels in the Bible. Angels are mentioned 290 sometimes in the Bible, high 290s. Sometimes they look like normal people. It's in the Bible, it describes them. Sometimes they don't look like normal people. These angels would have been, like I said, 8 feet tall, white shining robes. It mentions their white shining robes in the Bible a handful of times. That's exactly what I saw, white shining robes. These angels didn't have wings. Sometimes, like I said, they talk about their wings. I didn't see wings. These were just two, if you can imagine, 8 feet tall men, very, very muscular, in white shining robes with long hair. And they had a belt on their robe, and that's right where their hair ended, was where the belt was. They were the one from the driver's side. He leans over and he puts his hands in the middle of the flat spot of the guy that's hurt down there. And the one from the passenger side does the same thing. So the matching bookends, they reach over, they have their hands in the flat area of turns out to be my body, with Leonard in the middle. I can hear Leonard talking. I never got to see the angels' faces.
Okay, so this is something I find interesting. So
Right.
the disassociation, did you catch that? If it's
No.
part of the act, it's a good one. Well, he's saying that, or like a few seconds ago, he said the body down there, which implies it's not even him anymore. So he's disassociating from his body in that moment. So it's like as he's going back into the story and he's kind of recalling where he is mentally, you see that he's not even thinking like that's actually him anymore.
He's watching himself. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a disassociation. So if he's lying, it's a good lie. I find this guy a lot more compelling than last week's
Yeah.
story.
It's from the same channel too, so
I don't
That's some
know.
logistical questions. I don't understand how the other guy can be standing over him, running his hands through his hair, if there's a semi on top of him.
no, it wasn't a semi. It was just like a pickup truck.
Oh.
So he was kind of half in, half out, kind of under
Oh,
the
okay.
truck.
So he's not like directly under it. He's like half under it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, I had it pictured.
Yeah,
I kind of
missed
pictured the
first part
same
of this,
thing.
so-
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm kind of picturing the same. I had the same question. I didn't realize he was flipped around. For some reason, I had it in my head that he was actually under the trailer.
I was just
something.
visualizing two legs sticking out from underneath it.
Yeah, I was too. But yeah, apparently not. So
Yeah, it makes more sense when you listen to the whole thing, but we don't have that long much time.
yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff to go through. So do we want to go on with this one, or do we want to move on to the next person? Is there a...
Well, do you
Well,
do you
I'm
do,
I'm
do you
curious
believe
how
him?
he says he.
Do you believe him thus far?
Me?
Well, I want to see. I'm curious how he says he comes back. Huh?
Okay.
Like, how does he describe going back into his body and why? And
Okay, yeah, we can see that. Sure.
that's
Yeah, I didn't save that timestamp, so I don't know where that's
okay.
at.
Okay.
We'll go a little bit longer. I don't imagine this is... It sounds like we're getting towards the end anyway.
Yeah.
I kind of believe him. He's a lot more convincing than last week's guy.
Yeah.
You know, because the last week's dude had a message. You know what I mean? He was gonna communicate. You know.
Get his theology up.
Yeah, I got vibes that he was wanting to preach more so than tell a story, but I could be wrong. I mean, you're just first impressions, but I was a little suspicious of last week's fella. I'm not as suspicious of this guy. So.
Well, that's one thing I've noticed while I was listening to all these is the more details that people give in their stories, their backstory, where they came from, and then they tell the main story. If you get the whole backstory of what actually happened and it's more detailed, it's a lot easier to believe them.
Well, also,
Whereas if you just jump in like we did, It's hard to believe them because you're only getting pieces.
Yeah.
Missing context.
Yeah.
Just like any story, context is important. You make something more believable when you actually know what's going on.
Right.
Yep.
But also, I find it helpful to look for those tells, like the disassociation. Like as people start talking about what's happening, they'll kind of get back into the emotional state they were at the time. Generally speaking, if they're telling the truth. And so if you see stuff like the body, like, and then he like corrects himself and goes, "Oh, I guess it was my body," like those kind of, I guess you would call them Freudian slips. They kind of help to tell you what the person's intentions are. If you know, if you see them kind of regress back to a certain mental state, I guess. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I look for. Doesn't necessarily mean, you know, it's 100%.
Not exactly hard to fake, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard to fake, but not everybody thinks to fake it, you know. So all right, we'll see how far this goes.
It was obvious that they were men as they're bent over the body. So I'm looking from above and I'm like, oh, look, those angels are down there to help that guy. It
You
seemed
said help
normal.
that guy. You said help that guy.
Exactly. And it seemed normal. It didn't even seem like a big deal. I wasn't excited about the angels or anything. It's just like, oh, those angels are down there to help him. I have contemplated that over and over. And the only reason I can make any sense of that it would seem normal for me to see the angels is because in the spirit realm, they're normal. And that's why it didn't seem like a big deal to me in the ceiling. So I'm just watching down. I'm, you know, again, the angels never talked or anything.
But they had their hands in your abdomen?
Yeah, right in the flat spot, both sides.
Wow.
One from the driver's side, from the passenger side. And I'm, you know, you could see it right in that flat spot. They had their hands right there. And I'm just like, they're helping that guy somehow. And I'm watching now, it's a volunteer fire department. At this point, 8 of the people from the volunteer fire department are around there. They're not going to do CPR. No heartbeat, no pulse. They're not going to do CPR because I have a massive chest injury. So they are literally staying around, quietly talking, respectfully. They've already called med flight. There's really at this point nothing they can do. So Leonard is just crying above me. The angels are reaching over, they're touching me, and I'm just watching off from above. And as I'm watching from above, everybody had come in behind me through the main entrance of this garage on a blacktop driveway that goes out to the road. All 8 people from the volunteer fire are coming through those doors, just like I had backed my truck in and out of that blacktop driveway. But number 9 and 10 that showed up came in on the back corner of the garage. And so it was the only woman, a red-haired lady, found it later, her name is Shannon Celia. She came up the driver's side of the truck with a gray-haired guy, the only gray-haired guy also. So the only gray-haired guy and the only woman and she happened to have red hair, comes up the driver's side of the truck. She gets down between the angels. And I'm just going to stop here and say that for anybody just contemplating that, a year later when I got out of the hospital, I went and spoke at that volunteer fire department just to tell them thank you. And it was a surprise for the group. The only one that knew I was coming on their monthly meeting was the chief. I was able to, tell them thank you and stuff, but I was able to go around the room of roughly 30 people for the volunteer fire department. And I pointed out 8 of the 10 people that had come to the scene of the accident, my accident, a year before. When they got there, I'm with no heartbeat, no pulse because I bled out, all except for the first 2 guys. The first 2 guys got there, I was still there, and when I heard my last heartbeat and I left, and when my spirit left the roof of the garage, there was the first 2 guys had gotten there. But then 6 more people come to make it 8. I watched, they all come through the front, and then the last 2 people, number 9 and 10, came in the back door. A year later, I asked in that group of the volunteer fire department, I pointed to the red-haired lady Shannon, this other guy, and I said, you came in the back door. Why? Everybody else came in the front door. It's just a curiosity. It didn't make sense. It's been a year at this point. They had a hard time even remembering. Then they're like, oh yeah, that's right. We missed the driveway. We drove by, we saw the flashing lights. We came up the secondary driveway, the gravel driveway that comes to the back of the shop. It was just a simple little detail. But the point is, real Bruce's carcass underneath the truck, no heartbeat, no pulse. I shouldn't have been able to tell them what door they came in. But because my spirit was in the roof of the garage, I was able to say to Shannon and the other guy, you came in the back door. Again, that's a little detail, but that little detail proved to those 30 people, the real Bruce was in the ceiling, not laying underneath the truck. So I watch her come up the driver's side of the truck. Leonard moves out of the way because he's been on his hands and knees above me crying. She's feeling for a pulse. And at that point, she says, what is his name? Leonard says, I listen from above. He says, it's Bruce Vanetta. And there's a big guy in bibs on what to my left from above, which would be the passenger side front corner of the truck. He was wearing what I would call farmer bibs, the striped blue and white bibs. I don't know. Big guy, and he had his arms crossed. There was a smaller guy next to him, looked small next to him. And he says to this lady, Shannon, who's frantically feeling for a pulse, he says, it's too late. And he's already passed. And she ignores him. She keeps feeling for pulse. And, she says, what's his name? Leonard says, Bruce Vanetta. And the lady starts slapping me in the face, or slapping that guy in the face, and saying, Bruce Vanetta, come back, come back. So everybody that's the volunteer fire department people all stop talking. I'm watching from above, and they all turn and look at her and basically give her the, what are you doing, crazy lady look, because she's slapping this guy with no heartbeat, no pulse in the face, and saying, come back, come back. So everybody quits talking. They're just looking at her, basically in shock. She keeps saying, Bruce Vanetta, come back, slap me in the face. And the only way I can describe it is it seemed familiar. And the name, I wouldn't have said it was my name, but it somehow sounded familiar. And it caught my attention. And I started creeping down from where I was in the ceiling, my spirit, slowly. And when I got about halfway, I went really fast. It seemed like my spirit came back into my body. And when my spirit comes back into my body, my heart miraculously starts, again, no medicine, no CPR, nothing like that. My heart miraculously starts. We found out later, this woman, Shannon, was 38 years old the day of the accident. She was a 2-month-old baby Christian. She had been believing in Jesus for 2 months. This woman shows up to the scene of the accident, and when she was slapping me in the face, she was praying and commanding my spirit to come back into my body. Wow. So my spirit comes back into my body, my heart starts, but when I come back in, I go from feeling the best I've ever felt in my life to feeling the worst I've ever felt in my life. And the pain, again, there's no words to describe how bad this hurts to be completely crushed in half. The pain was so bad. I'm curled up, and I remember I said, 4-letter word that means fertilizer. I've got my eyes closed. It hurts really bad, and I can't stand it. I can't stand the pain. I'm like, no, I don't want this pain. And when I made the mental decision that I don't want this, I don't want to be in here, I want to be back up there, my heart stopped. My spirit left my body. I went up back in the roof of the garage. People have questioned that, have been puzzled about that. The only answer I have that makes any sense to me is God is a God of free will. And when I said, I don't want this, it hurts, he honored my free will. My spirit left my body. I went back up the roof of the garage. This time, a tunnel opened up, and people that have had near-death or out-of-body experiences a lot of times will talk about seeing a tunnel with a light on the end of it. That is, Christians will say that. That is exactly what I experienced. There was a tunnel going out of the roof of the garage at like a 45-degree angle. There was a bright light on the end of the tunnel. And I knew it, that heaven wasn't in the tunnel and Jesus was there waiting for me. I got in the tunnel. I started going towards the light. I was happy. I was excited to go to heaven, to go meet Jesus. I could feel G-force. I was going really, really, really fast. It seemed like I got maybe about halfway there. And all of a sudden I stopped because I could hear behind me, I couldn't see it, but behind me I could hear this, Bruce Vanetta, come back, come back. I got sucked backwards out of the tunnel. My spirit, I'm back in the roof of the garage. I'm looking down. I see the angels. I see the lady. I could see her, Shannon. I could see her slap me in the face. I look up. I see the tunnel. I see the light. I know it's heaven there. And all of a sudden, my spirit starts coming down, down, down. And it's back, pops back inside my body. When my spirit comes back into my body, again, this horrible, horrible pain. And then I looked at my left and I looked on my right for the angels that I've just seen twice from above for a long time. What seemed like a long time. I looked on my left and my right, and I couldn't see the angels anymore. And it really scared me, and I couldn't understand why they had left or where they went, and there's nothing there. I mean, I'm looking on my left and right, there's nothing. All I can see is Shannon's face. She's right above me right here. This horrible, horrible pain is racking my body, and I'm just closing my eyes and just grimacing the pain, the fear, feeling I'm going to die. I mean, I was just up in the ceiling. All of it is just so overwhelming. And in that moment of fear and horrible pain, I heard God speak to me, just a still small whisper. And literally all he said was, if you want to live, you're going to have to fight, and it's going to be a hard fight.
Mm.
He sounded very calm. He wasn't freaking out. He wasn't scared. He was very calm. Just said, if you want to live, you're going to have to fight. It's going to be a hard fight. And it was like instantly for me to go, no way. I don't want to live. I don't want to fight. This hurts too bad. My spirit left my body the third and final time. I went up the roof of the garage. The tunnel opened up. I got in the tunnel. I started going towards the light. Now it's been the second time I've been in that tunnel. And as I'm rocking away towards the light, happy to go to heaven, again, I can hear this voice somewhere back behind me. I can hear her saying, Bruce, I'm going to come back, come back. I mean, now obviously I know it's me. I'm the guy underneath the truck. I get sucked backwards out of the tunnel again. I'm looking down.
What?
I said commit.
Yeah, commit. Make up
third time.
See the angels.
I was all on board, but
last time.
I was in. It's interesting, but I started to get a little. I noticed he said she was commanding his spirit to come back, and you're like, oh, okay, we're pretty charismatic then, I guess. But so she commands him to come back. He comes back, and he's like, no, I don't want to. So he leaves, and then she says it again, and he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. So he goes back again, and then
I guess it must have hurt really bad. I don't know. You know,
little bit of a yo-yo. He's like, I don't want to, and she just keeps pulling him back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a point of conflicting faith at that point. Is her faith stronger or is his faith stronger? You know?
Well, I don't really know that it doesn't sound like it's a matter of his faith. He's trying to get out of there, and she just won't let go.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that.
He's like, please let me die.
And she don't want to let him go.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I find this guy much more convincing than last week's individual. A lot of it is because he's not the disassociation thing. I know and that's an interesting tell. He
if anything, the silliness of going back and forth adds to the credibility, because that's not something you would make up. That we kept that would what would be the point of adding that to the story?
Yeah, it's not exactly flattering, because there's some guy who's never went through anything hard going, wussy, stay in your body like a man. What are you doing?
Yeah, if you skip to 44, he actually stands up and shows the scar.
Okay. Well, do we want to finish the account? Because we're on
Sounds
attempt
like
number 3.
Pretty much over.
Sounds like, all right. Well, we'll move to 44 then.
You can see a scar if you want.
All right. Let's see. Don't you do an ad? Don't you do it?
We're adding.
Don't you do it? No.
Every day I'm buffering.
Accident happened November 16th.
Close.
Sometime in March of 07, one of those two pieces died. So they had to cut out one of those two pieces. So that was another big, huge operation. I'm going to stand up right now and let everybody see all my scars.
Yes.
Just so you can see everything, all the scars that you see are what the doctors did through those 5 operations and stuff. So I think it makes it a little more real for some people. So basically from the bottom of my ribs right here, where my ribs end, to the top of my pelvic, through here, you can see that ugly scar. 5 times they went through that hole. I don't have a belly button anymore, and I got J tubes and G tubes and drainage tubes, and that's why all those extra little scars.
That gnarly
you see
scar.
from all the tubes.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's a pretty compelling proof, in my opinion.
Yep, that right there sells the whole thing for me. It's like, oh, yep, I believe him.
Like,
now.
yeah, you did
For
have a
sure.
truck on you.
Yeah, you did have a truck on you. We could confirm that. Oh, goodness. All right, boys, we ready to move on to the next one?
You want to move on to the next subject or go into the atheist lady?
It's up to you. We've hit the 30-minute mark, so we did tease the atheist lady. And she's you're at 7:28 here on the timestamp, and it's 17 minutes long.
Oh, yeah, that was where I was trying to find my timestamp because I didn't write it down.
Ah.
But her story is this is one of those where you kind of got to hear the beginning to make sense, because she's more of a spiritualistic person than a believer.
Oh, well then let's wait till next week because I wanted
Yeah,
to
and
do.
then you said you wanted to do something Christian based, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
we did hell last week. We're going to do heaven this week, and then we'll do kind of these outlier deals next week. So we'll
Okay.
pause on that, and we'll move on to the next subject. But for now, if you are listening to this on the live stream, stay with us because we've got 2 more segments left. If you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.